Now, we agree that there is so many amazing things to learn from social media, but there is always the exception. And today we're just going to talk about something that the rise in social media platforms has brought into our society, which is conmanism, online theft. Now, this is not the first story I am sharing on this channel about swindlers, online theft, and the situation we're about to share today. And deep down, I know that this is not going to be the last of its kind, but I just want to add my voice to the ongoing trend to sensitize more people so that they know about Loretta. Now, you want to ask, who is Loretta?
She is a dangerous person, guys. We cannot take this lying down.
Loretta is a very horrible mom. She's a pathetic woman.
Eddie portray psychopathic tendencies because he get multiple personalities. Person where Loretta fit be for Oracle, not be person where Loretta the show am for better boyfriend.
And she's a very dangerous person. There is no telling what else she can do from here on out, because there are a lot of people who don't have Twitter, but she can actually get to them still. Because now we've sensitized everyone who's on Twitter, but we've not actually gotten to a lot of people, and I feel like she can use an advantage for this.
When it comes to kids, it is unacceptable what she has done, and she needs to be held to account for it.
Because I also heard something like she was in Clubhouse before. She had victims in Clubhouse, and then before leaving there, she then moved on to Twitter, which simply means from Twitter, she can move on to another platform.
Loretta is this lady who poses as the modern-day Mother Teresa. She is loved and admired by everybody who comes across her platform. She owns a couple of NGOs, has awards accorded to her name, is running for parliament. She just creates this atmosphere that everything is working out for her. This causes people to admire what she does. Many people want to work with her, want to be with her.
She's such an admirable person. I loved her so much. And I really looked up to her, and I was wishing like, God, I really want to be close to this girl to get to know her more and maybe work with her.
She uses this name that she has so created for herself, gets into people's minds, and eventually comes out with some money.
Since she said she was going to send the money to me sooner or later, I never mind. I had to complete the money, and that's how I'm crying my 65K.
Whistleblowing, raising awareness, go help plenty people them they know for victims.
It's a story that has a tight emotional web, and we're just going to share that right now. She finds herself in strategic positions where she can reach out to people that she has studied. Loretta has created this community where many young girls are looking up to her. They want to be like her, they want to work with her, and she just has them around her web, ready for the time when she's going to sprint.
They study the environment, they study who they're talking to, they understand the dynamics, so they know who to target, who to talk to about what.
The reason I say this is a story like no other is that Loretta is not only posing to be all of these things that she displays, but she's also a mother. She uses these girls as part of her story to get money from people and to put emotional trauma on people.
I'm just 26 years old. What will I be doing with 3 children? I don't have money. What will I do with you guys?
A couple of people have shared stories of how Loretta uses the children. She just creates these pathetic stories surrounding the lifestyle of the children, creates GoFundMes so as to get money from people. We got to a couple of people who interacted with Loretta, and they got to share their story of how their experience with Loretta went. We'll just listen to the first person who is going to tell us his experience with Loretta.
Thank you so much. Right now my heart is, beating like racing really fast. I never knew, a day like this would come. I met Loretta around October, November 2021. She and I, we met on Clubhouse. I always go to Clubhouse, to pray. I think I met a couple of people here when I was on Clubhouse. One evening, I was in this room, and she was also in the room as well. And then her name kind of looked familiar. I was like, you kind of look familiar. She was like, yeah, you too. We just started, from in the room, we started talking. That's how we actually, got in contact. Like, everything happened so fast. But then we're like in really good communication. When you meet someone, you guys get to talk and realize that, there's a lot of things that you guys share in common. For example, I used to be a big fan of the quote unquote humanitarian things I thought, she was doing. I used to be a big fan of, all of the things she would post and how she's saving the world and stuff like that. Those were some of the things that caught my attention. So I was like, you're doing an amazing work. I really like the work you're doing. We're talking, I'll encourage her and stuff like that. One time, like let's say around November, that was when she started telling me about her kids. She told me, she has her kids in Nigeria and they are really helpless, living with someone and stuff like that. At the time, it really didn't occur to me. I was like, we just kind of spoke about it lightly. So she kept on repeating the thing over and over. I remember vividly this one time she came, she called me, she was crying that her kids are somewhere in Nigeria, they are really helpless. There is no one to help her get the kids. I was like, how did your kids, first of all, end up in Nigeria? She started narrating some stories. All of those stories, like, they didn't make sense actually, but then at the time, you could not judge anybody. I was like, how many children? She was like, 3 kids. I was like, okay, can I get to talk to some of these? Talk to them. She was like, yeah, cool. One time she actually video called, and I was actually, she added me to the call. I spoke with the kids. They were like, uncle, can you come and please help us? We are not okay and stuff. We are not going to school. We are not living well and stuff like that. Then I was curious. I asked them, like, don't you have people, family and friends who can actually, because I just met you, so it's going to be strange. Don't you really have family and friends, people who can go down there, get your kids for you? She was like, she swore to me, she said, she doesn't have anybody, that she doesn't have any brother, any sister, anyone who can help her. I was like, this is really strange. So one day again, she brought up the issue of, the kids. Like, this time around, it was really crazy. She was sending me screenshots of the girl was actually living with the kids. It shows that the girl had been living with the kids for a very long time. It got to a point where the girl started threatening her that if she doesn't come to take the kids, she's going to send the kids out on the street, because the girl was already, having it already. So the girl started threatening her. She came to me now. She started, telling me, she gave me all type of lies. She was like, where her kids are, it's really unsafe. The kids are living with, this kind of person, that she was just saying all type of crazy things. I was like, okay, how can I really be of help? Whenever, she'll call the kids, she'll add me on the call, I'll talk with them. Like, the kids were really helpless. You understand? Those kids were helpless. They were not going to school. They were just helpless. They were just locked up in a room like that with the other lady. So I really felt bad. So it was around December. I was like, okay, I am a freelance designer. I mostly work from home. It's not going to cost me anything to go down there, get the kids. Then when you come, you're going to take them. So the deal was, I'm going to go down to Nigeria. I'm going to make 4 days maximum. She's going to come down to Nigeria, take the kids, then I'll come back to Cameroon. So that was our agreement. I'm like, okay, I don't mind. I don't really mind. I'll go down there, take the kids. So in 4 days time, I'll be expecting you in Africa to come get the kids. So when you get the kids, I'll come back to Cameroon. If I have to do any other thing, then that's me. But then I'll come back to Cameroon. So that was our agreement. We all agreed. I was like, okay, I'll do everything to help you. So I went there. I went to Nigeria. I actually removed my own money, like my transport. I told her, okay, I'm going down to Nigeria to get these kids. When you come back, all the expenditures and everything. Because at that time, my mind was like the way she presented the whole thing to me, my mind was like, how can we help these kids? That was my mind. Like, that was the only thought I had back then. Like, how can we help these kids? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go down, get the kids. Whenever you come, whatever expenses and stuff, you and I were going to sit down, we calculate it, and you're going to give me back the money. So she was like, okay, I had to, I actually went to Nigeria by water. I took a boat from Edina. I got to Akwa Ibom. From Akwa Ibom, I took a flight from Akwa Ibom to Lagos. So when I got to Lagos, she introduced me to this guy, Jimmy. I'm still in close contact with the guy. So she introduced me to Jimmy. Jimmy was the one who came and picked me up at the airport. So when Jimmy picked me up at the airport, the deal was Jimmy was just going to pick me up at the airport and I'm going to figure out, the rest of the things. But Jimmy was like, bro, I cannot leave here. You're just coming to Nigeria for the first time. Nigeria is a really crazy place. You can be, they can do whatever they want the moment they discover you're a visitor or you're a stranger. So I was like, okay, cool. We had to actually get a hotel closer to their house. We booked a hotel closer to their house. So I was still in communication with Loretta. Then Loretta was like, okay, she's doing everything possible to get the kids from the other girl. So when she asked the other girl to bring the kids, because those kids were in Kaduna. Kaduna is like the north of Nigeria. The girl actually had to travel from Kaduna by train, brought the kids, in Abuja. So we had to take a bus from Lagos to Abuja. We traveled all night. Then when we got to Abuja, the girl didn't utter a word. She didn't say anything to me. She just handed the kids over to me. And that was it. I could not understand because she painted that girl black. She told me how she has been giving the girl money. She has rented the girl house. She has done this to the girl and all that stuff. She really painted the girl black. I was just ignorant, in the whole picture. So I was with the kids. I took the kids. I was with Jimmy actually all through. So Jimmy and I, we traveled back, by air. We took the kids back to Lagos. So I told her that, okay, the kids are here. I'll be waiting for you, in the next 3 days. So probably in the next 3 days, you should be here. She was like, yeah, I should not worry. She's working on her passport and everything. She'll be there, that weekend that she badly wants to spend, the Christmas with the kids. She was showing me stuff that she has bought for the kids, that she's coming. She can't wait to spend Christmas with the kids and stuff. So I was really convinced because when she showed me most of those Christmas stuff she has bought for the kids, I was 100% sure that she would be in Nigeria. So when we got to Lagos, this guy Jimmy was like, okay, let me bring the kids to the hotel, and then we should come closer to their house. We took the kids to their parents, to his parents. They all accepted the kids and stuff like that. Everybody was okay. They were really happy. They welcomed the kids. They were really happy to see the kids. So I took the kids to the hotel that night. We slept. In the morning, Jimmy and his family, they came. They took us. We came to their place. So we were in the hotel for like 2 weeks. Loretta wasn't showing up. We kept online. So the guy's father was like, it's not safe for me to be in a hotel with children, that anything can happen, that let me remove the kids from the hotel and I should bring the kids to his house, that they will take care of the kids till when Loretta comes. So I removed the kids from the hotel. We went to their house. We're living with their house while I was living with Jimmy. So the kids were living in Jimmy's parents' house and I was living with Jimmy at his own place. So Jimmy and I were together for some time. We kept on asking Loretta, when are you coming? She was not giving anything, but she kept on giving one lie to another. Oh, my this has that, a lot of lies. So at one point now, the eldest of them, Jackie, she started doing a lot of crazy things because Nigeria is a crazy place. So they were trying to cover the whole thing for people to not know that the kids are strangers, because when the man brought the kids into their house, he told the neighbors that they are friends from Cameroon and stuff like that. But then Jackie was going around telling people that she doesn't know Uncle Arnold, that she have never seen Uncle Arnold before. Like she was telling the whole neighborhood, the whole street. So to the point where the family became really scared. I'll come back, they'll tell me all type of things that Jackie has gone around telling people. I'll call Loretta, like, things are getting out of hand. When are you coming? You need to come and get these kids from here because these people are not finding it funny. And I myself, it was already like 1 month. So for like 1 to 2 months, she didn't show up. So it got to a point now that the man started interrogating the kids, asking the kids questions because it became suspicious. Why is the girl not coming? What is happening? Like, have we been lying to him? He started narrating, their stories, how they have been living with, different people, that I'm one of the people that they have also, they are meeting right now. So they have met with different people, they have lived with different people. So that was how those people thought that, maybe I am a child trafficker and I am trafficking the kids. So at one point, one police came, I was interrogating the kids, and the policeman told the man that you should send these people away because these people can implicate you. I just sat one Sunday and they called me and I came. They have already packed their things in the middle of the street. There was like, I should take the kids away from this neighborhood that they don't want to see us. I started, to be honest, guys, I started crying because I didn't know what to do. Like, I was in Nigeria for my first time. I didn't know what to do. I was just there. I asked the man, I'm like, where am I going with this? Because I don't know anywhere. I called Loretta. I'm like, this is what is happening. What are you doing? She was like, she started all stories that never end. So I had to go back to Jimmy. I pleaded with him. I'm like, guy, your parents have given you an identity that they don't want to see you with us. But if you leave me with these kids, bro, I'm just going to die because where am I taking them to? So Jimmy was like, okay, since he was already close to me, it was like, there's no way he can leave me. We were like, okay, let me get a motel. I got a small motel. They first of all rejected me, like there's like a guy working with 3 kids, all of them are girls and stuff like that. So everybody was, wherever I was with a kid, it was kind of suspicious. Jimmy came, pleaded with the guys, like, no, he knows me, he trusts me, that please, they should give us 1 week. So in that 1 week, I called Loretta, I'm like, God, you need to be here because things are really getting crazy. If you don't come here, I'm just going to drop these kids here and I'm going to leave. You understand? She kept on giving one story to another. So in the whole process, there are times where the kids will need money for something, or I'll need money for something to take care of the kids, and she's gonna hesitate, to send the money, and then I'll have to figure out a way to get the money. Mobile money works in Nigeria. So the easiest way for me to get money sometimes was to get money from my own account, my own personal account. So most times I'll remove 50,000, 100,000 to get. Nigeria is expensive, transportation, moving with the kids from one place to another. Loretta kept on playing us. Those guys at the motel, they sent me out with the kids. They were like, they cannot keep me here. It is a motel. This is a place where people pay to have sex. You understand that they cannot keep me here with these kids and they don't know me, that I should leave. So we left. I told Loretta, like, okay, what's the plan? I need to leave with these kids from here because these people are sending me out. Things are really out of hand. She was like, you know what, let us get a place, that she's coming this weekend. Let me quickly get a place, she'll come. So I struggled. We went to the island because all along they were in the mainland. So we had to move from the mainland to the island. So when we got to the island at Agungi, we got to this hotel. So when we got to the hotel, I was still with Jimmy because I could not do any of those things without Jimmy. Jimmy was the one really, really supporting because I could do nothing without him. So I begged him. I'm like, his parents did not even know he was still with me. When they sent us away, his parents knew that, he has separated, from us. They still didn't know I was still with him all along. So I told him, I'm like, guy, if you leave me with these kids, it's really going to get crazy. We should help me. How do I, figure out things with these kids? So we went to the island. We got a hotel in the island. So Loretta called. I called actually. I'm like, okay, the people requested that they cannot leave me in the hotel with these kids, that they need to see, their mother. They need to talk to somebody who is their mother. I called Loretta. I'm like, okay, we are in a hotel now. Talk to these people. Tell them that you are their mother. For them to, Loretta spoke with them and told them that, okay, she's going to be around, this weekend. That please, we should give us more time. They left us into the hotel with those kids. Guys, I was in that hotel for the next 4 months. I was in that hotel for the next 4 months with those kids. Loretta never showed up. So it got to a point where I started asking myself so many questions. I'm like, what if this, because back then in the mainland, people were saying that those kids are not her kids, that they don't even look like her. So it got to a point where people were thinking that, she was even trafficking the kids. That was actually the whole story. People thought she was trafficking the kids and stuff like that, So when we got to the hotel, I was with the kids for some time. I kept on asking her. I could not leave those kids. That was my weakness because I could do anything to come back to Cameroon. But with those 3 kids, I could not leave them there. Those kids were helpless. I was the one taking care of them, bathing them in the morning. They have not gone to school for like 2 to 3 years. I started teaching them. The younger one, she said she's learning graphics. She knows graphic designing. I was the one who started teaching her graphic designing in the course of everything because I was like, okay, I'm like a father. Like I saw myself like a father already, taking care of those kids. Like they were really close to me. They loved me so much. So I was like, okay, how can I even do to start helping them? The eldest one, I started teaching her graphic design. In the night, I'll be teaching her designing. The other ones, I was the one taking care of them. I'll get up in the morning and make sure they take their bath. I have to go and look for food for them in the streets of Lagos. Guys, in the streets of Lagos. She was not active on Twitter. She just came on Twitter after they discovered her on Clubhouse. On Clubhouse, everyone knew her as a rich kid, as this influential person, as this, like, everyone on Clubhouse knew her as that kind of a person. So that was when they later on discovered everything. So people started sending screenshots to me on Clubhouse, how she has been, asking money from people, all the people on Clubhouse. She has been taking money from them, asking money from them. That was where her own news on Clubhouse actually, opened and people discovered her. Still then, she was still refusing. Oof, like guys, the story was like, that was when I just became so like ashamed of myself. Like, how could I even, let this person, use me like that? Like, so at that point I was like, okay, what do I do? I was just there with Jim. I was in Nigeria with nothing. I was left in Nigeria for the next 1 month with zero on me. She never called me. She never bothered to know where I was. I had to start hustling again in Nigeria to look for money to come back to Cameroon. So when I came back to Cameroon, guys, I was really ashamed of everything. Because when I left, I knew I was just going to make a couple of days in Nigeria. I never knew I was going to make up to 6 months. I could not tell anybody this story. Like, I watched everything that I had. Like, it was crazy. And the craziest thing is when I came on Twitter, I saw her, how she was interacting with people calling her this, people calling her that. I felt really bad. But where am I going to start from? Or who are you going to tell this person that this is who this person is and they'll believe you? She knows how to rebrand herself. And I told her one thing, I'm like, yo, someday they are going to discover you. And I'm not even going to be the one to expose you. For everything that you have done to me, someone is going to expose you because you cannot hide. You're definitely going to be exposed someday.
Now, this gentleman is not the only person who suffered in the hands of Loretta. You've heard the story. It is crazy. I'm just going to leave the link of the entire conversation that was had on Twitter in the description box if you just want to know like the entire story. But we also have testimony from a young lady who suffered from Loretta's manipulation, and we're just going to listen to her talk so that you have an idea of what Loretta does, the damage she causes.
So she started telling me about herself, how she's from a wealthy family, but everybody has abandoned her. People don't, her family members don't care about her. They hate her, and she has been with her mom. She has been with her grandmom for a very, very long time, and just her grandmom cares about her. Then she sends me pictures of her of her kids, especially the girls. She told me that they are schooling in Boya. They were first of all in Mamfe, but due to the excuse me, the insecurities over there, she had to move them to Boya, so they could be able to go to school properly. And then she said so many things. She was like, okay, she has a farm over there, and then she's paying someone to look over the farm, and this same person, she's still paying him to cater for her kids. I was like, okay, I'll be going to Boya this weekend to spend some time with family there, and I would like to see the kids and maybe just buy them snacks for school, like these biscuits and nutrition and stuff. So she was like, that's a good idea, thank you, sis. Okay, I got to Boya, I was really happy. Like, I called her, she sent me the caretaker's number. The guy came and got me down at Boliko, and then we went and got the kids. And then I saw the kids, they were not looking healthy at all. They were so unkempt. They had koro on their bodies. I was like, Loretta, your kids are not healthy. And then I took them to a restaurant so we could eat something. And she was like, okay, I should get them ice creams too. That should send me money for that bill. I was like, okay, anyway, she's a nice person. She'll send the money. Well, the money at the restaurant was on me. I did not mind. I spent money. Those children ate like kids who have been in prison. He told me how he has been with the children for close to 6 months to 7 months. Loretta doesn't send money. She sends is like 15K, 20K, and it's under hard struggle that she sends the money to him. And then he told me that he had issues with his wife, because his wife is like, how can you stay with 3 kids? Someone that you claim is not your family, and you're living with her 3 kids, she doesn't pay you how? That is a lie. You have something to do with this girl. That's how the wife left him, actually. I brought the kids now to Douala. I woke up very early, like a woman who has kids. I woke up at 4 a.m. I had to make breakfast because I had to go to work too. 4 a.m. I did breakfast. We went to the hospital. The hospital is, I used to live at Lopom. The hospital is behind Papyrus, CIH. I took them there. They ran tests. Those children were sick. They had malaria, typhoid, they had fungi. They were sick. So I told her that, Loretta, your kids are so sick and the hospital bill is high. You should be ready to send money. So I don't know why she was in a haste to just send money. I was like, Loretta, hold on. They have to finish with the diagnosis. Then they will tell me the cost, and then you will send money. She was like, no, she's doing that because she's going to somewhere with Daniel and she'll not be pressing her phone. That let me just take this so that if in case I can advance. I was like, okay. She sent, I think that was like 200 and something K and stuff. So I was like, since she said she was going to send the money to me sooner or later, I never mind. I had to complete the money. And that's how I've cried my 65K. I had to complete the money I paid. And then forgetting about the fact that those children eat, they consume. Her kids are so nice, like Arnold said. They are respectful. They are nice. And then the little girl kept on telling me, Auntie Sandra, you're nice to us. You take care of us. Are you going to be our new auntie? Please, we want to stay with you. My eyes were so teary. I'm like, I cannot. How old am I? I have just one room I'm managing. I don't even have a TV. I have just my bed, my laptop that I'm managing to stay with. I cannot stay with you guys. So I was supposed to stay with these kids for 1 week. And I'm that kind of person that I keep to my words. If you tell me A should be A till the end.
Loretta is a very horrible mom. She's a pathetic woman. On that level, we don't need to hear our own side of the story. Like I said earlier, and Ghislaine was so mad that she still has her own side of the story. But when it comes to kids, it is unacceptable what she has done, and she needs to be held to account for it.
Now, you all have heard the stories, you all have heard the testimonies. Some debate rose and people were saying they need to hear Loretta's own side of the story. Do you think it is necessary to hear Loretta's own side of the story? This is just to create awareness. It could happen to any of us, especially if you have love for people and you're very empathetic. This could happen to the best of us. So spread the word out there. I hope that you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.